Welcome to the real interview with Jimmie Lee.
Welcome to the Hard Rock Casino. I'm here with Jimmie Lee. He alleges he's a comedian. I'm kidding. It is Jimmie Lee, the Jersey
That's
Outlaw.
controversial right there, that statement.
Yep, it's controversial. And I have some questions for him that we've all had, and probably many other people. So, Jimmie.
By the way, we're live on Instagram for the 2 people watching.
Yeah.
Or 3. We're up to 3.
Yeah. Well, so.
Do you have questions?
Yeah, I do.
I have answers.
Okay, well, my first question is.
That's what Van Gogh says.
Yeah.
Hey.
My first question is, what the hell is wrong with you?
Plenty.
Yeah, but what did the
Well, when I was born,
say?
the doctor cut the cord, and my mom looked at me, and both of them hung themselves. That's where it started.
Next question. Okay. Who is the Jersey Outlaw?
So basically, she's asking questions about why I am the way I am, and it relates to my upbringing.
Exactly.
So I've been diagnosed unofficially, guys, with histrionic personality disorder.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing.
And if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically a guy or a chick that's histrionic and has to kind of be in the center of attention all the time. And it's got to be all about him. And I think that comes from growing up in a dysfunctional family where the love wasn't there for the kids. The love was more of my father to help take care of my mom, who had some mental illness issues.
Yeah.
And so I grew up kind of, and my wife always says I left home with an empty suitcase.
Yeah.
So then you become an adult and you end up like this, where you need the whole world to love you and you need all the attention because you didn't get that as a kid.
Well, yeah, that's one way to put it. You have to give yourself credit, though. You are successful. But I was going to kind of ask you about that. Which part of New Jersey did you grow up in?
So I grew up in South Jersey, and we're in Atlantic City now, and this is the area I grew up in. And I found out, Olivia, when I was 5 years old, growing up in Atlantic City, and my dad was a gambler. You know how I found out? He married my mom. Yeah, that's how I found out he was a gambler. He married my mom. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I was going to ask that with my knee.
I'm not waiting for you to catch up.
Yeah, no.
So that's what happened.
So the relationship with your parents, was it like, how did that impact you, I guess, growing up? And like, was your childhood reflective of your peers?
So not really that, but we almost had to take care of ourselves as kids, my brother and I, because Dad was always kind of taking care of Mom, taking her to her psychiatrist.
You were the oldest?
No, I'm the youngest. So, my father wasn't a bad guy. He just kind of had so much to do with my mom, and he had to work, a job like we all do. And there wasn't really time for the love me and my brother should have gotten growing up. So, my mom was bipolar. So.
Yeah, no, I can.
Yeah.
I can get that.
And I'm unipolar, meaning I'm always up. I'm never down. I'm always up.
That might be a symptom.
Yeah, that's the histrionic personality disorder, and it's again from the childhood.
Well, that is honestly you being really open, because I can relate to that kind of experience.
Did you have that growing up somewhat?
Yeah, but I sense that that impact the relationship either with your father and your mother, like your mom having those issues and your dad having to deal with her. Didn't that impact your comedy style and how
Well, it made me as a kid realize that I had to do so much to get attention from them that they weren't even able to give. So I was always doing things to get attention. So in grade school, I was the funny guy, so people would pay attention to me. I got older. I'm not a bad looking guy, so I didn't do bad with the ladies.
Yeah, you win.
You've seen some of the images up on Instagram, the whole John Travolta look. Now that I get older, I get to cheat with a little fun stuff on the face and a little trick-or-treat hairdo.
Yeah, all natural.
And all natural. So, but the point being is, you're a lot of ways because of how you're brought up, and I think everybody's like that. And what's interesting with me is, people say you should go talk to a counselor and change. I really don't want to change because I like how I am. I like being in entertainment and being funny, and I like the persona, and I like my fans. And I'm not doing it for money. I just kind of want to be loved by people, to be honest with you. It's not for money. It's a passion from here.
Before we move on from the relationship you had with your parents, do
Right.
you feel like your comedy style, like, is it kind of similar to any of theirs, or in a sense?
No, I just think it's the comedy I grew up on, which is
I
kind
see.
of Don Rickles, who's an insult comedian, and Dangerfield, who did one-liners, and I liked Red Fox. But I didn't like Red Fox on his TV show. I liked him when he was in the club, because
So-
he did blue humor back then, which is XXX then. Today would be PG. So
So-
I grew up in the 80s and 90s with that kind of comedy, and that's what I relate to. I don't really relate well to the comedians today because I'm older.
Well, yeah, and I mean there is like the whole thing of like reactionary humor and like
Which is kind of what I do.
yeah, exactly, especially with the street comedy. However,
And
Jimmie,
that vibe seems to be my best metric, is the street comedy in
How
terms
did
of my
you-
fans.
how did you so you were in dentistry school? Did you like stop at a comedy club? What was it? Like how did you like
So I got into comedy by accident. I was doing music for a lot of years and didn't quite get the bump up I needed.
yeah, your song?
And by accident, I did an open mic and didn't do bad and stayed with it almost 10 years in, and did stand up 3-4 years. But I realized by accident doing street comedy in South Beach 2016, I put a video up and got 270,000 views in like a month. And I'm like, I think people are going to like this, and this may get me known. So I stay with the street comedy.
So-
and now 6-7 years later, kind of going viral with the street comedy.
So the stand up, like the fall into stand up happened when like YouTube or the video
No,
platforms
I
were
would
out?
put videos up of stand-up. I would get 372 views.
Oh,
I
that's
put a
great.
street comedy reel up. I get 20, 30, 40,000 views. So I realized that people wanted to see me on the streets, being offensive, being rude, picking on people, doing stuff that nobody will do, but they want to watch you do because it's fun.
So this is like 2009, 2008?
No, this comedy started 2013. The street comedy started 2016.
Okay. Because I'm trying to figure out the timeline of how does a guy who's like you're relatively successful and like
Just
you're-
decide to pick up and
Yeah,
start doing comedy.
Exactly.
Well, I always told Akira I got a lot of problems, but working a crowd ain't one of them,
Yeah. Well.
as you can tell.
So how was the response at home and like your immediate family, your nuclear?
Well, the wife wants to disown me, and the kids don't want to have anything to do with me, so you figure that out.
No, but like
And I got 2
relatively-
kids in the Philippines, too. The truck stop. I got 2 Jap Jews running around the jungle there. We'll talk about that later.
We won't talk about that ever. We'll talk about your
Akira
real
knows
kids.
the lady,
We'll
too.
talk about your real kids, actually. Who I want to know, like, what do they? Because they use social media and like,
So I have 2 sons, and Blake, the older one, he's very normal, kind of like my wife, a nice guy.
yeah.
And Colby's a little bit fun, a little nutty like me. So one followed Lynn and one followed me.
And like they see your posts and stuff. Do they ever like go like, "Hey, Dad"?
They go, Dad, what's that? Dad.
Yeah, no, I had to because I know because I
Dad, what you put up today?
like I personally experienced Lynn calling to check on you because she saw one of the posts being like, this one's not gonna hit, or being
Exactly.
like, this one will hit. But
Yeah.
no, there's a lot of people
Lynn is keeping tabs on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Lynn's a
And-
good wife.
Well,
Lynn is a nice girl. Now in Italy, Akira, she will be a nice girl. But here she's a nice girl. But in Italy, since you didn't live Feebler, she's a nice girl.
do you want to tell them the left-handed turn joke for it?
Yeah, well, when we drive and I go left, according to
Oh, really?
Olivia, we make a left-handed
According to me.
turn. We don't make a left turn. We make a left-handed turn
Yeah, I
or
said
a
that.
right-handed turn.
Yeah,
Where'd that
that's what
come
I
from?
always say. That's I always say things like
A
that.
right-handed turn or a left-handed turn.
Yeah, Jimmie. So basically now you found your crowd of people, and Ethan.
Found like my niche, and then we were lucky enough to tie in with H3, who we're very grateful for.
Ethan
They've
and
helped them
Ela
do
both have loved you through the years. I remember watching
10
your
years,
original
9 years in with them.
original video with them when they lived in New York, and then you're at the
Right.
restaurant.
And we're at the restaurant called Fresco's about 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
Bothering that Asian waitress,
No.
eating the meats,
No.
and Hilla was filming on her phone because they didn't have that whole big company. Hilla was so cute, had her cell phone filming, and I had my video guy there, Brian.
Well,
used
I
to
feel
work
like it
with
was
me.
more like like what else could they do? Like,
well, they always
that is
said
so
we
brand new.
want to do this with Jimmie Lee because we just don't know what's going to happen next. They just were like, what's he going to say next? What's he going to do to embarrass us? What's going to happen next? So that's why they love that part of me.
No, also like behind the scenes, like you're, you know, a nice guy. Like when you go out with people, like, you know, you make sure that like everyone's, you know, looking
Yeah.
after your people. You might
I
be
do.
you might be harassing other people, but you're looking after your people.
That's
behind
part of the
scenes.
act.
And that's part of the act, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So the behind the scenes.
Yes.
People want to know how, well, besides what's wrong with you, how do you like manage to like keep like one Fousey Tube went on the podcast and then you're with Fousey Tube and have
We're
all
with
these
Fousey
like
Tube.
reels with Fousey
We're
Tube.
with Frank Stallone. We're with Dr. Dre. We're with
Yeah, I
everybody.
know. Exactly. Like,
So you want to know how's that all happened?
how do you do that? How do you meet all these people?
So, well, I'm a little bit outgoing, just a hair, so I don't care. So I have no problem going up to people, and I also, and Peebler was with me in California recently. We make sure we go to the right spots. That's very important. We know where to go, and most of the vibe is in New York and Hollywood. It's not here. It's not South Jersey, and you know, it's more New York and Hollywood. So that's where we go. And I would say really between those two, for what I do, it's more Hollywood, but it is New York because you've been with me in New York and you see the vibe when we eat at Cipriani's and we're in Soho. There's a vibe. But there's a big vibe in Hollywood because there's a lot of H Street fans there, and H Street fans really know me.
Yeah, like the H3 fans in New
And we're
York.
appreciative of all the exactly. We're appreciative of all the love from Ethan and Hilla and Zach and the whole team and all their fans.
Yep. Yeah, no, you are definitely loved. And then there's people who have like some valid hesitance with you.
Right.
Because like, you know, it is, I know that there are things that like were normalized and like you are a loving guy and like, you know, all different types of people, right? So like there are jokes from back in the day that like traveled over till now that you're still learning how to like kind of disconnect
Process
from,
and use them.
and then like, you know, realize, oh, there's people I love that like can be hurt by this joke, you know? So like it's things like that. So you know, you're definitely getting like the hang of that, and like with the help of your crew and stuff, like you know, you have the Phantom. I
think the fans are in my corner, Olive, now?
Yeah, the fans are in your corner, Olive.
So Olivia and I are the modern day Howard Stern and Robin Quivers right here. We're the modern day Howard Stern and Robin Quivers. We talked about that last week in New York City.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Jimmie tends like he'll find like movies or like different like stories about like other comedians who are successful, and he'll be
personalities.
Like, look at this. This is what we got to do, Olive.
Yeah. That was last Sunday we were watching Howard Stern's movie.
Yeah, exactly.
16 calls to her.
Oh,
maybe more.
Yeah.
So one thing, Olivia, you were interested, you told me before we went live, was how did the Jersey Outlaw character develop?
Yeah, well, how did you coin the term?
So almost just kind of by accident, the Jersey Outlaw name was through music, and we carried the name over because it was somewhat branded into comedy. And then kind of by accident, we started with the hair, buffooning the hair up in a pompadour and the leather coat and glasses, kind of like Dice Clay did, but not his quite style comedy. So we did clone and you know, brand the character and the look and the hairline, which I know Ethan and H3 love. And we came up with a character which sells. And then we just go out and rip the fucking place up wherever we go, and we entertain people and insult everybody who walks up.
I guess we'll close out with, Jimmie, where do you see yourself either in the next year, and then where do you want to see yourself in like the next 5 years?
I would just like at my age to hit and get big, because I got a lot of people I got to take care of. I got about 32 social media people. I got a family. And in order to do that, we got to make a little money. And Akira said, you're doing this 10 years, you haven't made a penny. What are you going to do? I said, we'll go do it another 10 years. You see, otherwise we'll be on food stamps. So.
Well, I think
we're trying really hard. We're working every week. We go to the city.
Yep.
We're going to LA 4 times a year. We're very thankful for H3. They always support us. Working really hard at it, and the heart's in the right place, and getting, you know, more fans on Instagram. Over 600,000 followers now. TikTok's starting to do better. We're on Thread now. We just started Thread 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw.
We're we got a lot of great videos on YouTube, our real official videos, and you got to follow us, guys, on Instagram. It is the Jersey Outlaw, and YouTube is Jimmie Lee the Jersey Outlaw, and Twitter is, I think, Jimmie Lee Outlaw, and I think what I miss. Did I miss anything? I think I hit it all.
You hit your Threads?
Yeah, and Threads is the Jersey Outlaw. But guys, you got to follow us on social media because we're on social media 24/7. We have a really great team. We have Mason and Megan who do our post-production work. We have a lot of good video people.
They're real.
We have
They're real.
Keebler and Olivia and now Akira who help, on the street stuff live.
We also had Carly who did the shirt designs.
Carly did shirt designs. We want to also thank Vicky. Vicky helped us a lot in New York.
Yeah, Vicky.
Vicky Lang, who's sweet and nice. And we have a lot of love with Gracie Shirley, one of our FOMO girls.
Oh, Gracie, the dance.
The Pulp Fiction dance. So, I mean, we got so much love out there. And that's what it's about. It's family, family love. And that's what makes me feel good. And I'm going to continue going. And we want to go bigger than big. We want to be like this guy right over here. Who is that guy, Olivia? Do you know him?
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I would like.
Can you spell his last name?
Well, we're not doing all that. I
can't do that, can you? The spelling thing's not your thing.
Well, I mean, I go to Harvard for like math.
S-I-N-A-T-R. I think spell his first name Frank.
Frank.
F-A.
F-A-R-N-T.
Junior or
G-K.
senior? Junior or senior?
F-E.
Is he junior or senior? Which one?
Frank Sinatra.
Senior.
Senior.
There he is. And he's looking at us. He said, Jimmie Lee, I'm upstairs. Go for it.
Do you want to close out for the people and let them know that we just did our
I do want to say
interview?
This is Jimmie Lee's real interview. This is airing on reality TV in about 2 weeks. It's going to air on our YouTube in about 10 days. This is a real interview, guys. We're bringing it to you live because people care, all 6 of them. And, to the people in the hospital, we'll keep you guys in stitches too. Have a good day. I got places to go and people to see. I got to go.
Okay. Bye, Jimmie.